may be seated. Good evening, and welcome to the 11th commencement ceremony for the Buckeye Online School for Success. Please take a minute to go ahead and check your cell phones, make sure they're on silent. Feel free to take pictures throughout the ceremony, but just please be courteous of others. Next, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance be led by Jason Duke, Director of Educational Services, and the flag is right over here for those who didn't get a chance to see it. So.
Everyone please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
To provide today's welcome, please welcome Richard Shepard, Executive Director, Buckeye Online School for Success.
Good evening and welcome to the 2015 Buckeye Online School for Success graduation service. This will be the 11th graduating class with more than 1,300 graduates to date. Students, soon-to-be graduates, along with their biggest fans, we welcome you. The families and friends. I also want to welcome the BOSS staff here this evening. I would like to take a moment to recognize and welcome members of the BOSS Board of Education, Mr. Charles Perry and Mr. Steve Jones. Our board president, Mr. Lou Ramuno, intended to be here this evening, but became ill today, but he did give me a call and sent along his best wishes and congratulations to you, the graduates. In addition, I'd like to take a moment to thank Sherry Capes, sitting down front. Sherry represents ESC Lake Erie West, which is the sponsor for Buckeye Online School for Success. I was told one time, in order to help relax when speaking to a larger group and to possibly put the listeners in a more receptive mood, it might be a good idea to share some humor, even if it's not very good humor. Having just said that, I know I have a few of our staff saying to themselves, including our principals, oh no, he is seriously going to try this. Sorry, but here it goes. Quick story. 2 students at a local school was scheduled to take their big final exam the next morning in their biology class. They had decided to study together the evening before. Both were very good students. However, on the evening before the big final exam, a few of their friends stopped by their house. A little bit of backyard basketball, an order of pizza, and some video games became the evening's entertainment. The next morning, the boys who drove to school together each and every day realized they were not prepared for this biology exam. After a whole lot of thought, they orchestrated a story that on the way to school, the car had a flat tire, and they did not have a spare tire. The boys showed up late after the exam was over, and they asked their biology teacher, could we possibly make up the exam the next day? After much thought, the teacher reluctantly agreed. That night, the boys spent several hours studying, getting ready for the exam. They showed up confident for the test. The biology teacher handed them a test booklet and seated the boys on opposite sides of the classroom, out of sight of each other. The first page of the test had a question worth 5% of the exam's total score. The question referred to chromosomes. Both students zipped through the problem, nailed the answer, and said, I got this test. They then turned to the next page of the booklet. This was worth 95% of the exam. Surprisingly, the next question was listed as this. Which tire? Obviously, a lesson well learned. Okay. Principals, no, I'm not going to go any further than that one. I'd like to just share a few quick, serious thoughts here. First, to the parents and the families and the friends who are here to share this evening with your graduate. From a personal perspective, it's a special evening. I remember the pride and joy of sitting in your seat. You may very well have had a lump in your throat and a few tears in your eyes when you saw your loved one coming down in the cap and gown. Trust me, that feeling of pride is quite normal. Please understand that you have contributed in so many special ways to this evening. Celebrate the achievement and enjoy the moment. Second, to the teachers and staff, I salute you and thank you for commitment and efforts on behalf of these students. Your profession impacts young lives, and that is significant. Be proud of what you do each and every day. Teachers, let me assure you that there is not a person in this room, regardless of their age, who can't look back on their school days and remember that special teacher who truly did make a difference. Whether or not you are aware, you very well may be that very teacher. Again, thank you for everything you do. And finally, and most importantly, to the 2015 graduates. This is your day. These are your accomplishments. It's your success story. However, it's far from your entire story. Tonight, as you receive your diploma and experience the changing of the tassel, it will only signify the completion of this one very important chapter in your book and your story. Make no mistake, tonight it is crucial and a very important chapter in your life's journey. But now is the time that you begin the process of writing the book's next chapter. The future is yours. Take full advantage of this opportunity. I encourage you to make the most of what lies ahead. We may be saying goodbye to each of you as a student, but please remember that you're about to become one of the 1,300 plus alumni of Buckeye Online School for Success. Please stay in touch. To each and every one of you, job well done. Graduates, I want to do something similar to what we did a couple years ago at graduation, and I know you weren't here, so you're going to have to bear with me a moment, but I'd like all the graduates just to stand for a moment. Come on, work with me here. Now turn around, and back in the back right is our teachers and staff sitting in the back of the room. Staff, raise your hand, there they are. Let's give them a round of applause for all the help they did in getting you to this point. And now, while you are still standing, let's recognize the parents and family members who have been there for you in so many different ways in reaching this day and this pinnacle in your life through their support and encouragement. Let's hear it for your parents and family. Thank you. You may be seated. On behalf of the Buckeye Online School for Success, I would like to offer my sincere appreciation to the students and to the families who had the confidence and trust in us to provide you, the graduates, with a quality educational experience. We realize you had a choice. We are pleased that you chose us. Again, welcome to this special evening and congratulations to the class of 2015. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to introduce tonight's guest speaker. Cassandra Kaufman was a 2008 BOSS graduate. Not only was Cassandra a stellar student, she was my very own first student as a teacher at BOSS. I'm very pleased to announce that Cassandra, after her years at Boss, went on to study chemical engineering at the University of Toledo. She graduated magna cum laude in 2012 with a degree in chemical engineering. She has since moved to Dayton and began working for AMG Engineering. Again, it is my pleasure to introduce Miss Cassandra Kaufman.
Wow, there's a lot of you out there. First off, I'd like to thank Andrea Dobbins, as well as the rest of the teachers of Boss, and all of you for having me here to speak to you today. It really is an honor. And before we get into the real part of this speech, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the parents. You, as parents, have made this day possible for your children, first in all the traditional ways, by having them and raising them, but also because you either chose this school or allowed your child to choose this school. Non-traditional forms of education require a lot more of parents, and for your additional effort and support, we thank you. Students, congratulations! You have just graduated from high school, and you should all feel very proud and accomplished. I know there was much time and effort put into today. Many hours of sitting in front of a computer, headset on, listening to a voice from some other part of the state while random scribbles appeared on PowerPoint slides. The occasional late night as you finished homework or quiz or test just before the midnight submission deadline. And we certainly can't forget the special dedication and determination it takes to complete a self-paced course in half a semester because you didn't start it until you realized how few weeks you had left. All of this has led up to this moment. You are just about to receive your diploma. And the best part, you are done with high school. This means you're now free to embark on a brand new adventure. This trip may include, or I believe many of you have signed up for the college option. This trip may include classes that are finally about topics that interest you, exciting new clubs for insert interest here, the realization that professors rarely take attendance, difficult roommate situations, professors with very thick accents, the freshman 15 plus, and mounting student debt, all with a shiny new degree that will hopefully get you insert dream job here once you complete all quests. Or maybe you think that college option isn't for you. You may choose the job right after high school option. This choice gives you exciting opportunities like earning lots of money right away, renting your own first apartment, long hours to get overtime pay, no job security, and working your butt off to pay those bills. This sounds like a pretty awful, discouraging speech so far. And I have to be honest with you guys. When I was first asked to do this commencement speech, my reaction was, what in the world do I have to say to a bunch of just graduated high schoolers that I don't know and that don't know me? But I knew my sister would be excited, and it did sound like an interesting opportunity. I just needed to find a topic. So I did what anyone does these days when they don't know something. I turned to the internet. True to form, the internet answered my call with more ideas and examples and advice than I could hope to sort through. Start with a joke. Pick a theme. Tell poignant life stories. Tell them what you would have liked to know. Identify the path to success. It was lots of really good advice, but at the end of the day, I realized that I already had something I wanted to talk to you about. And believe it or not, it turned out that the reaction that I had to approaching a task that I had little or no idea how to accomplish is actually the focus of this entire speech. Today, you are on the edge of a new time in your life. Most of you are now legal adults. Many of you will be off to college or perhaps a trade school. Some of you even have a job already lined up. And yes, there are even those of you in the crowd who still don't have any plans beyond receiving your diploma today. But whatever direction your life is about to take, The main thing is, you're about to enter a part of your life where you are going to be much more responsible for what and how you learn than ever before. Wait a minute, you say. I'm graduating from high school. The last thing I want to think about is more school. Well, you can calm down, because what I want to talk about today has very little to do with school, even for the ones of you who are destined for college, either in the fall or sometime in the future. What I want to talk about is self-directed, lifelong learning, the kind of learning that takes place when you're not paying attention, and the kind of learning that the internet has made possible in ways that were inconceivable just a few years ago. Now, all of you have grown up with the internet in ways that even I can't claim to have, because these days, the difference in only 7 years may as well be 100. If you think I'm exaggerating, just think of all the things that have burst into everyday life since I graduated from high school in 2008. Twitter, smartphones, Hulu, all of these things were in the early adopter, no one else knows about this really cool thing yet stages. And I'll admit, there are things like Instagram, Snapchat, and Periscope that I'll probably just never get into because I'm basically the internet equivalent of a grumpy old man. But the internet has also opened up a whole new mindset that I find very exciting. It's the days of a Wikipedia article on every topic and person under the sun. The age of a YouTube video to help you find out how to do anything: programming, math, science, woodworking, drawing, any skill that you used to need a person to walk you through step by step. You can now look up a video that will give you the same kind of instructions. Only you can pause, back up, and rewatch as many times as necessary. This instructor will never get irritated or bored with you. It's the era of passionate blogs about cooking, fitness, and personal finance. Free access to catalogs of ebooks and audiobooks from your public library that you can download straight to your device of choice and use and return without ever stepping foot into said establishment. And guess what? You, each and every one of you, are uniquely poised to take advantage of this bounty of information. First, because you are natural-born citizens of the internet. And second, because you have already had the opportunity through this high school to see the internet as a formal tool for learning. But I want to maybe, hopefully, open your mind up a little bit to the true potential of the internet. It's not just a way to help you get quickly through a homework assignment. Everyone knows that you use the references at the bottom of that Wikipedia article to write your paper. The internet is so much more than that. Remember those things I mentioned at the beginning of this speech? Some of them sounded not so fun. Those are very real things that can and do and will happen to you post-high school. But they don't have to, because you have this wonderful universal tool called your brain and this neat little add-on called the internet that can help you through each and every one of those pitfalls unscathed. Take, for example, a difficult roommate. During college, I had a roommate that I roomed with off and on over the course of 3 years. Great girl. She happened to be in my major and my year, so not only did we room together, we shared many of the same classes, and eventually we graduated together. But, as she liked to tell me, she was a redhead and had the stereotypical firecracker personality to go with it. So, as roommates are wont to do, we would occasionally butt heads. For myself, I'm not a very confrontational person, and I didn't understand her personality or fighting style. You know what helped? Reading about different personalities and problem resolution techniques online. Coming away from that experience taught me a couple of things. Not only did I learn how to better deal with my roommate, I learned how to better deal with all kinds of people in the future. And perhaps most importantly, I learned where I could go if I found myself in a similar situation in the future. Another tough spot I found myself in college that the internet helped me through was interviewing for a co-op. In my program, it was a required part of the degree. And while the school provided basic interviewing help, what helped me even more was the research that I did online. By searching, I found more examples of questions and resumes than I could ever hope to get through. Along with techniques for giving good answers and appropriate attire, I even found information on how to conduct a good interview. In the end, I found that interviewing was fairly easy, as long as you had prepared beforehand. Actually, the internet was helping me out before I ever even got to college. Not only did I graduate from the same high school that you are today, and therefore, I suppose, in some respects, I owe my high school diploma to the internet, I also owe it, in part, my choice of career. When I was a senior in high school, I remember going through many different websites and resources trying to pick a major for college. My favorite idea at the time was to be some kind of fashion or costume designer, an idea I think that rather horrified my parents. They wanted something much more sensible, steady, like a pharmacist or an engineer. Without my parents' advice, I doubt I would be an engineer today. But without the internet providing information on what I could expect going through the program and in potential jobs, I don't know how I would have picked between the different kinds of engineering majors available. Today, I find myself using the internet more and more as my biggest learning tool. I read about what's going on in the world, whether that be new tech, scientific studies, or current events. I find free lessons on topics of my choice through sites like Coursera that allow you to take the same classes that are offered at MIT and other top schools. I devour blogs and pin more recipes and craft ideas on Pinterest than I could ever hope to get through in my lifetime. And if I ever come across a random question in my day-to-day life, you can be sure I'm asking Google for the answer. It's not just me. These new behaviors are so widespread that there have been studies done in the ways in which the internet is changing the way people think. No longer are we memorizing vast quantities of information. When questioned, people who have looked up information on Wikipedia think they know more about that topic than they actually do. Guess where I found that little tidbit? Even though they may not be able to recall what they have read, they know that that information is at their fingertips, as long as the internet is connected. So here's where I wind down my speech. I give you my final thoughts and reveal the surprise twist ending. This speech is not, despite all appearances, about how the internet is going to affect the rest of your life. It's about you and about the way you approach the challenges you are going to face over the next few years and throughout the rest of your life. It is no longer up to your parents or your teachers to tell you where you need to go or what you need to be doing. They will no longer have any say over how much studying you do or what you actually learn. If you expect someone else to be running your life, then you're headed for trouble. You are going to be the responsible party, whether you act that way or not. I hope you do, because in each of the examples and stories that I told above, it wasn't where or how I found the information that allowed me to have a good outcome. It was about the fact that I looked. Yes, the internet made the information I wanted easy to find and plentiful. But had I lived 20 years ago, 50 years ago, the approach really wouldn't have been all that different. Instead of Googling personality types, I could have headed over to the library, checked out some books on the topic. Instead of finding websites on conflict resolution, I could have talked to a counselor or a friend who was good with people. And in both examples, looking for help on the internet and looking for help offline, there was one final, very important step in dealing with my roommate. Asking for her help and understanding and working with her. Because at the end of the day, no amount of reading and researching could tell me the best way to resolve the issues we had. Only by talking with each other could we really find solutions. The same thing goes for interviewing, picking career, every challenge that has come up that I have answered with help from the internet. The internet was a great and easy place to start. And in some cases, it formed the questions that I ultimately sought the answers for. But had I not had the internet, I would have still taken the same approach. The internet is a vast and wonderful tool, but it is not the sole key to success. Success is not about having the right tools. It is about asking the right questions, using whatever tools you have available to find the answers. Actually, it's not even about asking the right questions. It's about asking so many questions that you stumble upon the answer to the question that you didn't even know to ask. And that's why lifelong learning, the kind of learning that you take sole responsibility for and is driven by your own curiosity, is so very, very important. Because you'll ask a question and find an answer at one point in your life, and you might remember only half of the idea that it left you with. And that half of an idea will sit somewhere in a dusty corner of your brain until one day you find that you have a use for it. As you go throughout the rest of your life, curiosity will be your greatest ally. Learning does not stop in the classroom. You are always learning. And if you do it right, you will learn so much more after high school and even after college than you ever did in. Because school is not so much about learning what you need to know as it is a training ground for a way of thinking throughout the rest of your life. It is about learning how to research, not so you can write a paper for your teacher, but so you know where to find good, reliable information on any topic. It's about learning how to run an experiment, not so you can make the precipitate fall out of the solution, but so that you have the tools to understand and analyze the world around you. Yes, you will learn some basic facts, but the one thing about learning is that the more you learn, the less you know. I hope you've learned enough to realize how little you know. That's probably the best lesson you could have learned in high school. And for those of you who haven't picked it up yet, hopefully you'll catch on quickly in college. Because the person who thinks he's learned all he needs to know will stop looking for answers, stop asking those vital questions. I'd like to leave you with one final thought. It's not my own, or at least I didn't put the words together to express it. It's one of the many, many quotes that I read while I was researching how to give a graduation speech. It comes from Jon Stewart giving his own graduation speech at the College of William and Mary. The unfortunate, yet truly exciting thing about your life is that there is no core curriculum. The entire place is an elective. Thank you.
Thank you, Cassandra. Please join me in welcoming student speakers, Gabriel Gessler, President, National Honor Society, Gabrielle Morgan, Vice President, National Honor Society, and Rebecca Brakovich, National Honor Society Secretary.
Friends and family of this year's 2015 graduating class, welcome. I'd like to take a special moment to thank each one of you personally for coming and making the journey to celebrate with us what marks the bittersweet end of our childhood as we all prepare to move on and make our mark in the world. I'd also like to thank our wonderful principal, Ms. Dobbins, Assistant Principal, Mr. Mader, and our oh-so-lovely National Honor Society advisor, Ms. Bailey. In addition, I want to be sure to thank our NHS representatives and all the BAUS faculty and staff for the long hours that they have put in to bring us to this very special day. Please join me in giving them a hand. I would ask you now to also recognize those who have worked so magnificently on your behalf, our beautiful and beloved parents, class of 2015. Let's give our parents a hand. I also want to commend my fellow NHS members. Over these past 2 years, we've accomplished so much. As the most active NHS in school history, we began an Ohio graduation peer tutoring session that boosted all-time passing scores by 6%. We've also logged more than 4,000 service hours, assisting countless people across the state of Ohio. I can easily say it has been a true pleasure to work with each and every single one of these members. Now back to the speech. My friends, this is it. After countless assignments, exams, standardized tests, and every other obstacle, we've made it. We've powered through the assignments, letting little prevent us from achieving our diploma. Some of us will go on to pursue a higher education. Others will pursue excellence without. But whatever paths we may choose, we all have that one burning question that lives inside of us. That question is, what will my future hold? The future will be different for all of us. Different lives, careers, and spouses. But one thing that we all strive for unequivocally is happiness. Now, in the eyes of a cold, efficient, deadline-driven world, simple happiness can be looked down upon as childish. We live in an age where every aspect of life needs to be smarter, faster, stronger, sleeker. We maximize human performance and eliminate loss at every turn. But this societal mindset of perfection and performance will lead to division, frustration, anger, and unhappiness. We live in a world so fixated on perfection that it can be hard to feel special. In fact, with the inevitable challenges of life, you can feel worthless and ground down. I'd like to address this mindset of cynicism and negativity by telling you all a story. A philosophy professor's year was coming to a close. One day as he addressed his class, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a fresh $100 bill, asking the question to his pupils, who would like this $100 bill? As you can imagine, everyone's hands flew up. He paused for a moment and then proceeded to crumple up the bill in front of everyone. Everyone was a little bit confused, but they went on with it. He asked once more, who would like this $100 bill? Everyone's hand was still up. So the professor then dropped the bill on the floor, stomped on it, and began to grind it into the dirt. When he picked it up, the bill was dirty, crumpled, and ugly. He asked for one last time, who would like this $100 bill? And not a hand had fallen. My friends, the moral of this story is that no matter what this professor did to the bill, the students still wanted it because it never decreased in value. The value was still $100 after it was crumpled and dirty, just as when it was clean and pressed. There are times throughout our lives where we too will be dropped, stomped, and ground into the dirt. But my friends, I'm pleased to tell all of you that you are far more valuable than a measly $100 bill. You are invaluable. You are biologically and genetically irreplaceable. Nobody can speak the way you speak, or write the way you write, or live the way you live. You all bring so much more to this earthly table than just a simple $100. There will never again be another person that will live your life. Think about how remarkable that is, how remarkable you all are. Your time is limited, my friends, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't let your own personal fears prevent you from living a happy life. Let me tell you one last story about how I personally overcame one of my largest fears. When I was 12, I still had an irrational fear of the dark. I was always anxious and worried that something or someone might just pop out. But one day, my father took me aside and said, "You and I are going to overcome this fear." He took me downstairs to the basement. It was so pitch black you couldn't see your hand if you waved it in front of you. But my father said to me, Gabriel, I want you to know no matter how dark the blackness is, no matter how strong it seems, it cannot put out even the smallest light. Right there, as he said that, he lit a match. Just one match, illuminating the entire room. There, right there, a whole room of darkness was vanquished by one single match. It was at that moment that I was no longer going to let my fear of the dark dictate my life. So my fellow classmates, we have grown and will continue to grow until the end of our days. Some of us will go on to become teachers, doctors, electricians, engineers, lawyers, mechanics, and servicemen or women. We all will have times of struggle. We all will have times wondering how the bills are going to get paid, how we're going to get the sink fixed, how the kids are going to get to practice, and many more challenges. Yet, despite all this, let's remember that happiness is not attached to either medals or to money. Happiness is built on memories, on friends, on kindness, on family, and on service to others. In a word, happiness is love in action. Before we all leave and go our separate ways, I'd like to wish all of you here a very happy life, one that is filled with laughter and love, but most importantly, true joy. You will have great challenges, trials, and setbacks. But my friends, if there's one thing I want you to take away from this speech, it's this. The worth of our lives comes not in what we do or who we know, but by who we are and whose we are. You are special. Don't ever forget it. Congratulations, class of 2015. We've made it.
Oh my, there are a lot of people. Okay. Hello, my name is Gabrielle Morgan. I have been a student here at Boss for the past 5 years, and I have been in the National Honor Society for the past 2, serving as your vice president for both years. Today, I have a surprising number to share with you. 12 years, 8 months, and 20 days. This is how long we have devoted ourselves to our education, how long we have strived to better ourselves. Each of us has our own stories and origins. Though your history doesn't define who you are, it certainly shapes us into who we have become. Author Anna Smith says that our identity is an assemblage of constellations. Each of us is a star in the universe of our lives. We, over the years, have become every solar system, every galaxy that make up today's society. We must remember that the past is important, but only because it is a means of learning about our future. I come from a very mixed family. My 3 older siblings were enrolled in the local public high school, whereas my younger brother and I, who's sitting right over there, were traditionally homeschooled from kindergarten. In my 8th grade year, my parents and I decided to enroll in Boss. I love going to Boss, but I also cherish my years as a homeschool student. I remember my first day of 1st grade, just as I imagine most of you can. Unlike some, my first day entailed of walking up into the 2nd level of my house, into my schoolroom, and busting open the brand new textbooks that I had received in the mail the previous week. It was one of the most exciting days of my little life. My dad even wrote me a note before he left for work, wishing me good luck. Little did I know that this would be the first of many, many adventures that I would embark upon over my school career. However, I know that this is different for everyone. Some of you may have boarded the bus for the first time on that first day of school, letting go of your mother's hand as she wished you the best of luck on your journey. Hopefully you made many new friends at school. Hopefully it was that first day that inspired you to succeed at everything you put your mind to. Middle school has always been and will always be a place of growth and gawkiness. I think we can all remember the cliques and, of course, puberty. Though this may have been an awkward time for us, it was at this point where we began to develop our style, our taste in music, and build in our confidence. I know it's hard to believe, but those middle school years are the ones that most attributed to who you are today. Then comes high school. Freshman year was like a whole new world. We now had to worry about some mysterious thing called a GPA, and we had to worry about being fresh meat for the aloof upperclassmen. Our classes were harder and more interesting, and we began the end of our journey. Sophomore year was where we were still working hard to fit in, to find our place here at high school. Most people either find sophomore year as their most loved or their most hated. Personally, I loved it. Regardless, we came through it alive and ready to see what seniority felt like as an upperclassman. Junior year was the most difficult, in my opinion. It was where we had to finally bunker down and get a grip on our grades. We had to study well into the night for tests such as the ACT and SAT. Colleges began their interest in us, and we were bombarded by invitations to apply here or to apply there. Choices. Finally, senior year kicked in. We had senioritis, as I'm sure many, many of you did. But we couldn't wait to graduate for some reason. We now have everything wrapped up, got in those last-minute assignments, and completed our high school bucket list. And then, here we are, the day that we've all been waiting for, graduation day. I would be lying to you if I said that I didn't cry those big, ugly tears on the last day of school, but I did. All of our hard work has finally come to an end. We can now thank our teachers for their love and support. We can shake our esteemed principal's hand, and we can walk out those doors ready to face a new beginning. My classmates, my friends, we have slaved over hundreds of thousands of assignments. Let that sink in. That's a lot. We laughed, we cried, loved, stressed, swore that we were going to quit, up and down. But we didn't. We succeeded. We made it. And now, if you'll be patient with me, if you wouldn't mind all standing up and smiling, I'd like to take one last selfie with you all. Thanks, guys. Guys, I wish you all a good luck and a heartfelt farewell. You've done it. We've made it. You've earned it. Good luck.
A little bit short. To my fellow classmates, we did it. I went into my freshman year both nervous and excited for the adventures to come, and left with lifelong friendships and joyous memories, a few of which I share with my fellow officers, Gabe and Gabby. These 4 years have been both challenging and exciting. We created new friendships and our hard work paid off. These 4 years flew by, but we didn't do it alone. There are some people we owe a debt of gratitude toward. To our teachers, I want to thank you for sharing your time and the effort you put forth to teach us the knowledge you know. You taught us how to write a research paper, use the Pythagorean theorem, and how osmosis works. You educated us on our country's history, and most importantly, you taught us how to be motivated and creative students. Being in online school, this wasn't an easy job for you all. You took the time to stay after class, and sometimes on a whole different class period, to help us when we didn't understand something. You put in the effort to engage us as students, even on those dreadful Monday mornings. You expected excellence from us and gave us every opportunity to achieve it. But let's face it, we would be nowhere without tech support. I know I was always that person on the first day of school calling tech support because Ambernet decided not to let me log on. Or when I have a very big presentation due in 5 minutes and my slides won't upload. You guys were our saving grace. On behalf of all the technologically troubled students, I want to thank you, tech support, for being there for us and solving our problems. And last, but most certainly not least, I want to thank our families. Thank you for supporting us in all of our academic events. You dragged us out of bed, even when most of us would just grab our laptops and go right back to them. You made sure we were fed, and you listened to our complaints. You helped us with our homework, but gave us enough space so that we could truly learn and understand the problems we faced. Because we had the pleasure of doing school at home, we were given the pleasure of being with our families and learning the life lessons they could teach us. I would like to thank my family for the support and encouragement they have given me throughout my life, even when some of my goals were as silly as wanting to grow up to be a butterfly princess. You guys have been with me through my happy days and my sad days, and for that, I thank you. And I hope that you, my fellow classmates, get the opportunity to thank your families as well. To conclude, I would like to say that behind every graduate, there has always been someone to support us in some way. The best way to show gratitude is to make the most of what we have been given. With this, we pay our debt of gratitude forward. Some of us will use our knowledge to go off to college. Some will join the military and serve to protect our freedoms. Some will go straight into the workforce. I wish all of you graduating seniors the best of luck and blessings on whatever path you choose. Thank you.
As you know, this is not a traditional setting, and we are unable to have an assembly to recognize some of the students' achievements of some of our students. Presenting scholarships will be Madeline Freeby, Assistant Director.
Well, I'd like to congratulate all of you and the families that love you and have supported you over these years. With the self-confidence you have earned, it is time for you to go out and make them even prouder. The next part of our ceremony is very special to all of us at Boss. Henry Brooks Adams once wrote, "A teacher affects eternity. He never really knows where his influences stop." Donald A. Lowe served as a beacon of light to schools full of eager minds, which he touched with his spirit and encouraged those around him to share their light in the dark. Mr. Lowe served as a board member for Buckeye Online School for Success from the 2004 school year until his passing in September 18, 2010. He dedicated his life to the field of education as a teacher, an administrator, and a board member at various points in his life over a span of 50 years. In order to honor him, Boss established and continues to support the Donald A. Lowe Memorial Scholarship, which will be given each year to graduates pursuing higher education. We hope that the recipients will carry on Mr. Lowe's legacy by shining his or her light on the world through the pursuit of knowledge. The recipients of the annual Donald A. Lowe Memorial Scholarship are as follows. Susanna Martin, if you would come up, please, $200 scholarship. Our next recipient became ill this morning and will not be attending, and it is Jonathan Fleming, and he will receive $300 scholarship. And our first place scholarship will go to Louisa Beckwith, and she is also not in attendance tonight. The next scholarship we will be giving out is a National Honor Society scholarship. And that will go, it is a $500 scholarship, and it will go to Rebecca Brokovich. Many of our students receive scholarships from colleges that they will be attending. It is our pleasure to announce the following scholarships we have been provided the information for. The Eastern Gateway Community College Horizon Scholarship for $3,450, renewable for 2 years, for a total of $6,900 is presented to Shelby Bennett. If you come up. The Ohio War Orphan Scholarship for $2,500, renewable for 4 years, of $10,000 is presented to Savannah Ford. The Kent State University Trustee Scholarship for $2,500, renewable for 4 years for $10,000 to Olivia Shagla. The Kent State University Trustee Scholarship for $3,500, renewable for 4 years for a total of $14,000 to Shelby Norholt. The Wright State First Year Academy Scholarship for $4,500, renewable for 4 years for $18,000 to Richard Gessler. Geeson, I'm sorry, my mistake. The George Mason University Scholarship for $5,000, renewable for 4 years for $20,000 to Rebecca Brokovich. The Mount Vernon Nazarene University Scholarship for $14,000, renewable for 4 years for $56,000 to Brittany Tuggle. The Hiram College Dean Scholarship for $14,500, renewable for 4 years for $58,000 is presented to Emily Yeckley. The Denison Alumni Award for $15,000 renewable for 4 years for a total of $60,000 is presented to Colleen Snyder. You okay? The Mount Vernon Nazarene University for $16,000 renewable for 4 years for $64,000 will be presented to Samuel McCamey. Congratulations to all of you and good luck. Thank you.
The presentation of the diplomas will be next. As Mr. Mader reads the names, please be courteous of all students and give them their opportunity. You may take photos at this time. Presenting the diplomas will be Frank Mader, Assistant Principal of the high school. Handing out diplomas will be Board of Education member Chuck Perry and Executive Director Rick Shepard.
Good evening. Congratulations, graduates of 2015. As I call your name, come across the stage and go down the second set of steps here and return to your seats. Albert Nathaniel Ayers, Latonia. Elise Ann Beckwith, Salem. Natalie Renee Bellevue, Burton. Joanna Mary Bendel, Lebanon. Shelby K. Bennett, Bloomingdale. Michelle Renee Berger, Continental. Glenn Robert Blevins II, Alliance. Rebecca Teresa Brakovich, Bloomingdale. Danielle Nicole Brock, Hubbard. Aaron Joseph Brownfield, East Liverpool. Samantha Elizabeth Burkett, Wellsville. Elizabeth Lucille Carosi, Greenford. Jessica Lucille Carosi, Greenford. Jacqueline Ann Kaufman, Mansfield. Kiera Maria Convery, Niles. Anthony Andrew DeSimone, East Liverpool. Stephen Christopher Detlich, South Russell. Elliot Robert Russell Dieter Boardman. Jonathan Luke Dryberg, Youngstown. Aaron Kennedy Ford, Cleveland. Savannah Ashley Ford, Huber Heights. Troy Brandon Frazier, Franklin. Amanda June Furby, Empire. Richard Martin Geeson, Centerville. Gabriel Joseph Abraham Gessler, Mingo Junction. Amanda Tonsu Glover, Beaver Creek. Lacey Marie Gross, East Liverpool. Michaela Dawn Halt, North Benton. Brandon Allen Hetherington, Warren. Austin Anthony Isidore, Cincinnati. Cherica Nevada Jane Jackson, East Liverpool. Alicia Marie Jacobs, New Waterford. Marissa Alexis Johnson, Lisbon. Bethany Nicole Jones, Macedonia. Bethany Marie Capella, Conneaut. Victoria Christine Claypack, Austintown. Keith Michael Lance, Stowe. Kayla Lynn Lane, Mineral Ridge. Joseph Paul Liberator, Brooklyn Heights. Alicia Marie Labetti, Steubenville. Taylor Madison Linger, Akron. Bailey Elizabeth Lucas, Ashley. Tiffany Carmen Maitland, St. Clairsville. Samantha Rose Marlowe, Macedonia. Sierra Marie Marsh, Brilliant. Susanna Ruth Martin, Minerva. Samuel Caleb McCamey, Bellbrook. Dakota Ann McCourt, Scio. Price, Westerville. Kara Joy Schifano, Olmsted Falls. Olivia Natalie Shagla, Youngstown. Natalie Ray Smith, Lisbon. Colleen Maria Snyder, Mount Vernon. Kaylee Elizabeth Spar, Ashtabula. Leanne Marie Stickle, Wyndham. Miranda Jean Thompson, East Liverpool. Christian Michael Toole, Beloit. Brittany Ann Tuggle, Johnstown. William Sean Vernum, Cortland. Carly Mae Williams, Columbiana. Emily Nicole Yeckley, Chardon. Again, congratulations to the Buckeye Online School for Success, class of 2015.
Please welcome back to the podium high school principal Andrea Dobbins.
It is my absolute pleasure to be here with you this evening. As I stand here tonight and look at you, the class of 2015, I see mixed emotion. I see excitement in those of you holding your shiny new diplomas. I see relief as you're finally finished with 4 years of high school. I see nervousness as you look toward your future. But most of all, I see accomplishment. You should be proud of yourselves. You have earned this moment. It wasn't easy. You've put in many hours of hard work. You've written research papers and made it through Ms. Bailey's grueling English classes. You've studied history and government with teachers like Mr. Barkalow. We won't even begin to discuss those algebra and calc classes with Mr. Fairborn and Mr. DeMar. throughout those challenges, you did it. You've tackled every obstacle thrown your way and proved to be successful. And for that, we are all proud of you. Your parents and loved ones are proud. They have watched you grow. They kissed your boo-boos, they comforted you, encouraged you, and eventually let you venture out and find yourself. Tonight, they are watching you transition into independent young adults that are getting ready to face this world without them. As I sat at home the other night, putting together the list of songs that were played earlier, I thought of your parents. I cried as I listened to those songs, as I can only imagine the emotion that they must be feeling right now, watching their babies cross this stage tonight. Be kind to them. They help more than you realize, help you reach this point. They will continue helping you well into your future. Your teachers are also proud. They guided you, they encouraged you, they helped you see your potential. They asked you to do your best, then pushed you even harder. For this, be thankful. This world is not an easy place. As you venture into your future plans, whether it's college, the workforce, or whatever path you may choose, know that you will always be faced with challenges. These individuals that were hard on you did it out of love. They did it because they knew you could handle it. They did it because they wanted to see you get to this moment here tonight. This is your night. This is your accomplishment. But there's a group of teachers and staff members in the back of the room tonight that are delighted with your success. At this time, I ask the seniors to please rise. This is the last act that you will perform as a student at Buckeye Online School for Success. The turning of the tassels signifies the transition from candidate to graduate. Tonight, you arrived as a student wearing the tassel on the right. You were excited to meet your friends and your teachers. You were ready to receive that hard-earned diploma. Once the tassel is moved to your left, you will no longer be a student, but a graduate. The focus begins to switch from the journey that got you to this point to the journey that lies ahead of you. The dreams, the aspirations that you have for yourself can finally begin to take shape. It is now your turn to take on the world and make it a better place. Graduates of the class of 2015, please move your tassel to the left. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2015.
You may be seated. Tonight's closing remarks will be by Chuck Perry, Board of Education member.
Graduate. How do you like the ring of that word? Sounds pretty good, right? Okay. It's a privilege for Steve Jones. Steve, show them you're here, okay? Privilege for Steve and I to represent the Board of Education for the Buckeye Online School for Success to recognize your accomplishment. You know, I sit by Steve in a lot of board meetings and you know, he's a with it young man because when I'm going through paper and rustling through paper, what's Steve doing? But you know, he's electronically making his way through the meeting and making his way through the world. You know, if Cassandra is the equivalent, you know, in the internet age of a grumpy old man, you know, I'm an extinct dinosaur. That's what I am, okay? You know, I have no idea what all this hashtag stuff is. I've never taken a selfie, okay? I only text when I absolutely have to. It's the only way I can get my sons to communicate with me. And I'm one of those guys who gets irritated when the person in the office next to me texts me or emails me instead of coming over and asking me the question that needs to be asked. But you know, I sit in these board members, you folks, you graduates, you amaze me because you have used an electronic medium to traverse an important, informative stage of your life. You've learned, You've passed courses, you've demonstrated competence in those course areas, and you know what? You've established competence in the use of a medium and platform that's going to serve you well in the world in which we live today. Cassandra over there is at Exhibit 1A of the success that you can enjoy. Now, I guess my one word of sermon to you tonight is, with all the technology and the competence that you've learned, and I think Cassandra mentioned this or alluded to it in part of her address to you, is not to forget the skills of looking a person in the eye, telling the truth, using a handshake, and an embrace when appropriate. Okay? But again, Steve, myself, on behalf of the whole of the Board of Education, we're proud of you, we congratulate you, and we wish you great continued success as you pursue those things that bring you fulfillment and are also beneficial to humankind. Blessings to all of you.
Please join me in congratulating for the last time the Buckeye Online School for Success Class of 2015. Thank you for attending tonight's ceremony. As the graduates finalize a few details to their graduation, I welcome you to join us for some refreshments on the other side of the curtains here. And I know many of you travel far